Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Trending Thursday. My name is Ryan. Always a pleasure to host you guys. All right, I see the alert should be hitting in just a moment. I see people making their way in the comment section here. Let's see here. We got Hog Squeal. I like that name, Hog Squeal. I love a good laugh. He said ZMB. I think you meant Pump Baby, not Pamp Baby. But it's all right, Hog Squeal. We'll get you to spell one day. All right, but really, we'll take a look at ZMB because, I mean, for my bulls, it's not easy being a bull today, right? I told you, as long as that MTI keeps trending lower, it becomes harder and harder to be a bull to where eventually you got to start being more bearish, right? So if you're stepping into contra ETFs, things of that nature, hey, can't be mad at it. All I'm going to say is don't be surprised if those trades are more short-lived. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the MTI has already made its journey closer, to 0.6, right, on that range. All right, let's see here. Oh, yeah, we got quite a few people in there. We got Greg here. Jazz says UAMY is going the wrong way. I see it jump this afternoon. I went around 630. Now it's about 670. We're going to talk about UAMY. I actually have a call option. It was the $7 strike, the last one this month. I put in just under the bid price, which I think the spread was around $1. And my bid price, I put 90 cents on it. So we'll see if it fills. But we got G-Dave, Bill in the house. Good to see you, Bill. Nectarios, Dennis, Roger. A lot of people coming in here. Eric from Belgium. What's up, Eric from Belgium? We got Palm Beach Limo and Car Services. I like that. Just put your logo right in the name, right? That's the entrepreneurial spirit. I love it, Palm Beach. I'm just going to call you Palm Beach for short. All right, John says, how did we both get crowns on our names? I don't know, John, because I'm telling you what, I did not crown you nor Bill. Y'all have not been knighted in VV Nation. I'm just picking on you. But that's pretty cool. Probably because you guys chat a lot, I know there's rewards on YouTube for chatting more. I'm buying the dip on CLNE. There we go. I knew it didn't take long to find a dip buyer. There we go. David's. We found our first dip buyer. Any more dip buyers in the house? When we get to stocks, I'm going to break it up to two different categories. First category is going to be stocks you already own. Right? Makes sense. Stocks you might want to get defensive on, protective on. And the second category are those dip stocks, right? The stocks we're thinking about buying the dip. And I'm not buying the dip today. I'll let you know right now, I made a great trade. I'm going to show you the trade. It was a day trade on the Qs because, that's what I trade. I know everyone's got their own little style here. Dennis says confirmed down today, most likely. Yes, Dennis, I saw that confirmed down. It's flashing right now. I know you can't see it right behind me. We're in the YouTube world. We don't have the color guard. But you can see the market timing gauge. It's all the way into the red. So I'm going to tell you right now, the option I bought, it was a put. Because I saw more opportunities on the put side of things rather than being a bull today. I do see the market kind of, it was trying to call its way back, at least when I was looking at the Qs last little bit. So I'm glad I closed out that position. I'll explain that position to you as well. XPAV up 14%, John says. Do they have earnings? I'm curious if they have earnings here. And that is a Chinese EV manufacturer. Just heads up here. Alfredo says, what's up, VV? It dips and dips slower, Jazz said. Just be careful of the dips right now. Just be careful of the dips. If I'm buying a dip right now, making sure it's undervalued. Data Vault is a good dipper. Jazz, Data Vault is a dip that's on my radar. It's around $1.40. Our valuation's right at $1. Hey, with the article, the short seller article, with the market the way it is, I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Tell you that right now in Data Vault, but I like what I see. If I can get to about $1.20, I might tiptoe into that position. I'll look at the chart again. Don't let y'all think the sell-off is over. MTI is telling me we got about 0.2 to go. We're at 0.83 now, right? So even if we don't sell off, I'm seeing, I was talking about breather, but now we're starting to really see a pullback, right? We went from breather to a little bit of a pullback here. Time to buy contra ETFs, Jersey guy says. As long as you're an active trader, you're familiar with something like Star Search 3 and 8, as long as you're familiar with that. But with the market moving to the side, with the signals getting whipsawed so recently, and with the MTI so close to 0.6 already, we haven't really seen like a steady pullback. I'm thinking the contra is going to be a little trickier this go around, Jersey. So if you're new to contras, maybe just do some, some paper trading on contras. But just my 2 cents, I think contra is going to be a little bit tricky this go around. I did buy some UAMY at the dip this morning. All right. Like I said, I was thinking about it next week. But when I made some money today at the market, I was like, let me put in a call order. Just, it is what it is. That money pretty much made from the trade anyways I did today. All right, so let's get into news, and we're going to talk about my trade. We're going to talk about some earning stocks, and we're going to talk about your stocks, right? We're going to get all your GLP-1s got some news today. I saw that. Hey, I try to put hot stocks on your radar. GLP-1, I give credit where credit is due. Initially, that was a Glenn topic from a while ago. You know me, I don't ever do drug videos. I don't ever do biomedical videos, anything like that. Drug companies, that's not my forte. But GLP-1s, I see some opportunities there. Amgen, they had earnings. They're phenomenal. That they popped up quite a bit. So I just try to put some good stocks on your radar. I'm watching MTI and getting bullish slowly. That's it, right? Trust me, that MTI can drop some more and the market can drop some more because I have not pulled the trigger yet. And I like getting stocks cheaper than they're at now. Right? I like getting stocks cheaper. All right, so 2 news stories I'm going to talk about today. I'm really light on the news today, mostly just because I see these being the 2 biggest factors moving the market, right? First thing, and wow, that screen got really bright there, that bright white screen. You want to vacation and market crashed. I mean, yeah, I said it. I told you guys I wasn't buying any stocks before I went on vacation. And I'm going to move this over a little bit. There, look, I can make myself float around. Whee, I'm a ghost. Just kidding. Halloween's over. All right. I had a feeling that stuff's going to pull back, and it is. And I'm getting happy because I've been saving my money to buy some stocks. No more vacation until you make market goes up, way up for holidays. Amir said no more vacations till after the holidays. This is going to be a super Santa rally. Jazz, I'm going to talk about the Santa rally. 3 weeks now? Again, I say I got no crystal ball, but I'm just matching up with what the VectorVest indicators, with the timing of everything going on, with the holidays approaching, thinking Santa rally, right? But there's 2 things that can always dent the Santa rally or make the Santa rally not as rally, right? May not be as explosive as we saw from like the tariff turmoil earlier this year. I'm just forewarning you that. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we'll see what happens. But right now, look, job cuts in October hit highest level for the month in 22 years. 22 years, right? This kind of jobs data coming out. I see another rate cut in December. That's all I'm going to come down to. That's one thing I could see the market get a little excited about is the rate cut, but real negative jobs data, not necessarily so good, right? You see jobs cuts for October total 153,000, 183% surge from September, and 175% higher than the same month a year ago. It was the highest level for any October since 2003 and has been the worst year for layoffs since 2009. Man. Please give your ID on Axon and EME and Fix, please. We'll definitely take a look at some stocks here in just a moment. Michael says, leaving for St. Thomas, St. John on Saturday. Have you ever been there before, Michael? I'm telling you right now, it's absolutely beautiful. If you're staying on St. Thomas, check out Sapphire Bay and Megan Bay. Absolutely, they're the best ones on St. Thomas. If you're going to St. John, North Shore. Just think North Shore. All the beaches are right in a row there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Rent yourself a Jeep or a little vehicle. The ferry, it's like $65. It's not bad. Round trip. So if you're staying in St. Thomas, just take the ferry over there. But you're going to have a great time. I just left back from there. Absolutely gorgeous place. But yes, jobs, right? Economic data, economic weakness. That's one thing. And actually, could be another article I put in here. I could almost tie with this. But Michael Burry, the famous 2008 short seller of mortgage-backed securities, right? He shorted Palantir. He shorted NVIDIA. Palantir, that kind of makes sense, right? It's overvalued. I'm not willing to put $1 billion bet on it like he did. But from a valuation perspective and, around $200 when the article came out, I could get that as long as you got the money for the buffer zone because, there definitely could be a buffer there. NVIDIA didn't make too much sense to me. But the more I thought about it, it makes a little sense. And it's not because most of the reasons people are thinking. Me personally, it's because of China. It's because of China. And I said that in the last earnings video. I see that problem being a little further out than jumping the gun like Michael did and go ahead and put the short on there. That's a little too early in my opinion. But this is what I thought was interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. NVIDIA's Jensen Huang. Everyone likes to listen to what he's got to say. You know, he can, you know, lift quantum stocks or smack them in the face one day. You know, it just depends what he says, right? China will win the AI race. That's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to. So you got one of the famous short sellers coming out saying there's already AI valuation concerns, right? Especially since everyone's just, you know, seeing essentially the money's just going in a big circle between some of these semiconductor companies, right? This I see as a real issue, right? Because when I did the video for NVIDIA, I talked about SMIC, China's leading fab manufacturer, right? And from the research I'm doing, they're about 3 to 5 years behind NVIDIA right now. Right? We'll see what happens. You know, it could be a little bit longer, could be a little bit less. You know, who knows? It's all speculation. But this is what Jensen Huang had to say, right? Contrasted China's pro-industry energy subsidies, right? Think about it. They subsidize a lot of their industries, right? With what he described as excessive Western regulation. What Chinese stock is equivalent to NVIDIA? I don't know how you get exposure to it. I don't know on the design side. You're probably thinking Huawei, Alibaba. But on the fab side, like the TSM player, it's called SMIC. I don't know how to get exposure to that. I'd have to research it. But just keep this in the back of your mind. All right, just keep this in the back of your mind. You know, this is just, you know, this is in my opinion. This is Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA. This is, I'm just putting this out there right now, so don't say Ryan's saying this, but this is something to take note of going forward, right? You got Jensen Huang saying this. You can see this was an article or interview with the Financial Times on Wednesday. China's going to win the AI race. So interesting, the day after he says that, and with the jobs data of the market, if we close out of this, and the famous and very well spoken and educated words of Glenn, this looks poopy. This looks very poopy. Let's see here. Michael says, thanks for the info. 10 days. Nice. Jersey guy says, OpenAI said during an interview that they need a government bailout, even with the circular financing in place. I also saw an article, which I debated putting out there today, which I probably could have, that the Trump administration, the czar, I forgot what his name, what the czar, I think it's like the crypto czar, essentially, pretty much said there's not going to be an AI bailout. There's not going to be an AI bailout, right? If we're in an AI race with China, you don't think the government's going to help subsidize that? You don't think there's going to be bailouts? I don't know if there's going to be bailouts in the traditional perspective, but if ChatGPT or some of these other well-known AI powerhouses needed some money to make sure we stay ahead of China, I do see the government kind of stepping in for that, right? Let's be honest on that. I'm going to start a Chinese company called Closed AI. Stop it, John. But again, I just thought that was very interesting that Jensen Huang, came out and say that, especially since anyone's commentary can really spook the markets. It's going to be that guy, right? Now let's get back to the VectorVest 7 system. What is the VectorVest 7 system telling us, right? Again, very poopy, right? In the well-educated words of Glenn. See the major indices down today, right? But this is what I've been talking about. A series of lower highs, lower lows, and really that was confirmed right around Halloween. You see an MTI coming around 1.02, and that surpassed the prior low of 1.04. But now we're making our way down to 0.83, right? I'm just going to go ahead and do you a favor right now. If you've never heard of the term bottom fishing, if you're new to VectorVest, after this live stream, when you got some time and you're interested in making some real money and some opportunities that could come up soon, go on YouTube and just search bottom fishing VectorVest. Whether it's me, Steve Chappell, I know a bunch of education guys have done some videos on that as well. Watch some of those videos because those are the opportunities I see on the horizon potentially, right? Now, if we take a look at the Midas Touch stocks, see Micron still at the top of 240 today. That is why I like undervalued stocks with value rising, price rising, right? I've been talking about Micron forever since it was what, around 120, I think. Now it's at 240. That's actually one in the bag. It's one in the bag since I've done the video on it. It's awesome. It's up 1.35% today. So again, obviously looking at Micron, still at the top, Midas Touch, not going to be too concerned about that one. Lam Research down a little bit today. Western Digital climbing back up today, up about almost 4% here. Sienna Corp, this is a fiber optics company. You see fiber optics, still hot space, momentum there. Memory devices, again, this is where Micron and some of those other ones are. Utility at the top of the list here. Now, utility was interesting. I was looking at it this morning. Utility is the only one in positive territory, while these other ones were all negative. But now we're seeing steel slightly in positive, and then utility down just 0.25% here. So I'm not too surprised, utility, a little bit more defensive plays. So I'm just catching up with your comments. Dennis brought up a very interesting point, Dennis, because I had Googled it and I did some research into it. But yes, China has outlawed crypto. It's one of the reasons why I think Bitcoin it's going to be under some pressure going forward, right? Because if you just logically think about it, if we are right now or pretty much a one world power, if in the next decade or two, if there's a lot of ifs, if we come to a dual world power and the other world power, half, the economy, world economy, whatever it may be, that side of the system has still outlawed crypto, because right now technically it is banned in China. Yeah, I do see that being a bit big hindrance of Bitcoin. And honestly, what I see of Bitcoin is a big competitor of Bitcoin and Ethereum right now is the stable coins. Stable coins, the rise of the stable coins, the market cap, even though I know stable coins, they don't move, so I don't know necessarily why everyone's buying them. But they're pegged to the dollar. The government likes them because these stable coins buy short-term treasury notes, right? U.S. debt. That's how they operate. So they're not going anywhere. So I see that stealing some of the thunder with Bitcoin and Ethereum, just, from sheer market cap growth. Just throwing that out there. See here, indices moving off lows modestly. Yes. No, I noticed that. All right. So one thing before we get to your stocks, I'm going to talk about real quick. QQQ, right? I made actually I can pull it up here on my phone. So I made a stock trade today. I figured I'd explain it to you guys. That way you guys can learn a little trade, because right now it's hard to get too long on positions, and with volatility the way it is, it's a good day trading time, right? So this morning we obviously see the bearish pressure on, red lights, confirmed down situation, right? Well, I had a lot going on this morning, so I didn't get to take advantage of a lot of that move. You can see from about 9:30 markets open to about 11:30 in the morning, around noonish is when we hit our low. So this is the first thing I looked at. This trend line here, broke the trend line, retested it, but then we started a new trend to the upside, right? Well, again, I was at work, so I didn't have too much time to take advantage of this uptrend off this pivot here, which would have been pretty nice on a day trade. But what I did notice is some rejection that could potentially come in at the 200-day. So if I pull up my account real quick, just to show you here. So to play the rejection, I bought 3 puts at 12.58. We'll zoom in here. Right? So you can see the rejection hits the 200, rejection here, big upper wick, rejection, trades are placed. I bought the calls at 85 cents. I bought 3 of these for $85. So it cost me about $300, right? About $300. I stayed in this trade for just a few moments. Let me go back one here. And the first contract I sold was at 104. So you got the rejection. We got the trend line here. We got confirmation of that trend line, but we had the 40-day. So I figured I'd take some profits because the first one I took profit of was $1.32, right? Again, I bought these at 85 cents. So you're up already 50 cents, almost 50% or just over 50% profit already, right? So I took one off the table. As the market accelerated to the downside, I took another one off the table 2 minutes later, right? That was $1.30. I sold it here after this move, $1.94. $1.94. So again, I had bought these off rejection. These were Q puts and the 612 put. Rejection, broke the trend line here, sold my first one, sold my second one here, right? 85 cents to $1.94 there. And then the second one, the third one, the last one I sold was going to be shortly after. That was at 111. That's when I sold my last one here. And that was simply $2.21. $2.21 there for that one. So these three contracts, essentially, I'd started with around a $300 investment, and by the time this trade was done, ended up with close to $600. It was about $594. So this, you have to stay disciplined, right? Because, and the reason why I say this, because you could have easily looked at all those profits getting washed away here, just in these few minutes, right? So think about it, from what, 12:58 here to 1:11, 13 minutes on a $300 investment. I was able to double it, make $300. So this is a quick day trade setup. Maybe this might happen in the near future. Once again, we see this steep market sell-off, say, hey, you're busy working or whatever it may be, getting the kids ready for school, you missed the trade. Look for that to come back up to the 200, right? Stay disciplined, because if price action would have taken out this prior high here, and I looked at it, the contract would have been about 79 cents. So I bought them for 85. It would have dropped down. So it lost $6 a contract, right? $18 on what, $300 investment, or about actually it was about $250 investment. So even actually it was more than 100% gain. About $250. So I just wanted to keep that, this nice little trade. This is just a simple rejection from a 200-day and bearish market sentiment, right? Because the market just doesn't move straight down. It likes to go down and then come back up, right? You see right here, found a little pivot. And this pivot was around the 40. But here we're starting to really see the market look for a bottom. So it just made sense, right? So I just wanted to put this little trade set up, but this is a rejection from the 200-day moving average intraday options trade. All right, now that's done here. Let's take a look at some of these items. SPY, VVC. Let's take a look at small caps. See what the rare earths, probably under a little bit of pressure here. Let's see here. Let's go to 6 months. Actually, zoom in 3 months here. Right at my level of support. This is what I was expecting, because you had a consolidation zone here. Clear resistance on the Qs right at this level around 612 to 614. We broke above it, but we never really retested this level again. This is the first retest of this level, right? And I'm already seeing the bottom wick come in. That's why I'm saying, don't jump in for the contras yet, because this could just be a clear, very predictable breather. Now, if we break this, or we get an open or a close, say tomorrow, below 612, then yes, that's the follow through from the confirmed call signal that I would be looking at from more technical perspective from the Qs, right? So if you're holding Qs, if you're holding tech, if the confirmed down signal says today and tomorrow the Qs is below 612, yeah, we didn't get quite the pivot. Now, if we get a big bottom wick here and a nice jump up tomorrow, that's a clear pivot off that 20-day with support here, filled the gaps, retested from the jump out. I mean, everything looks good for a bullish maneuver here. So see what happens. You know, if you already opened up your contras, you know, that's on you. But I'm not quite contra ready yet. Not quite contra ready yet, right? And what I like is, I mean, the Qs, we really aren't far from where we were. I mean, if I just use this, where is it? October 9th, December 6th. Yeah, about a month ago. Where we were a month ago, right? So this is a good breather, and that's why I like the MTI pulling back, getting closer to this 0.6 level, right? The whole reason why it gives us more upside potential when it comes to a potential Santa rally, right? And that's what every swing trader wants to see going into the holidays, make a little money. Not mad at it. Here's the SPY. You can see the buying pressure right on the 40-day. Last time this worked out, it's pretty good accumulation point. So again, if you're buying the dip, just be careful because it's going to be a little bit more aggressive. You're not getting any confirmation right now. The only confirmation you're getting is that some buyers came in at the 40. That's it. That's not a lot. Here's the VectorVest composite, looking at more so the broad market. And this has been kind of my warning sign here as this level of support. I did talk about the ascending channel, got retest, clearly bearish move here. Market may be basing for Santa blast off. Yeah, Bill, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's basing right now. You can see that even with the VectorVest composite. I mean, if you look at the VectorVest composite, we were trading where we were back in August. So September, October, over 2 months, just over 2 months. Just over 2 months. We're not far from where we were. So yes, you can see the market's taking a breather. That's why I'm getting optimistic. And me being younger, I typically like more speculative tech plays, right? No surprise there. And they're getting whacked right now. And I like that because guess what? The stocks are coming right to me. Have them come to me. I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it for sure. Here's the Russell, the small caps. I see lower left, upper right. Again, last time, buying pressure right at the 40. We're seeing that again play out. You know, if you want some confirmation, let's get above the 20. We don't have intraday data here on the Russell, so we could be above the 20 now. But I do like the Russell. The way that looks. Here's the remix. This is Van Eck Rare Earths. Right in my level of support here. We're all talking about UAMY. Don't even put it in the list. We'll all look at UAMY together. The very much needed breather that needed to happen with these stocks, right? I like where it's at. If it breaks much below 63, I'd be getting a little bit more defensive on it. If we look at RT relative timing, as you can tell here, just crossed below. So that's going to be your first warning sign there, right? I don't know where you bought this at, but we've been talking about rare earths for a year now on this channel. So if I got to 1 year, I mean, yeah, you've got plenty of chances, especially since, you know, most of the videos and popularity really came in right here. So protect profits. Protect profits. Oh, yeah, Troy. I saw Navitas was 9. You got me excited. What? I saw it 8 something. It was high 8s. Here's the Ethereum here. Look at the 200-day. Perfect accumulation of the 200-day. Don't give up on crypto. Like I've always said, the best time to be thinking about crypto, even rare earths. I don't even say it, put rares in that category. Usually when no one else is talking about it, when everyone's talking about their crap. But if I look at BTC, also approaching its 200-day. So BTC broke its 200-day. So take note of that. That's really showing some weakness there in BTC. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum followed suit here. Ethereum's already so close. Yeah, be careful with those. Both are showing sell ratings at this time. BTC just got a fresh sell rating. Bitcoin just won't hit 97,000. I'm not giving up on Bitcoin. But in the short term, I do see accumulation around that 200-day. You got to be a believer in it. If you're a swing trader, I'm not seeing the swing yet. But, you know, if you're a long-term investor and you're a believer in them, you know, taking a little nibble at the 200-day may not be the worst idea. All righty here. One other thing we got, just UAMY, while we're all talking about it in the room today. Look at that pivot show up. There it is. I was hoping this would happen next week. But like I said, I made $300 off my 250. I got a call already in place. So it's the $7 strike and it's the last expiration of the month, whatever date that was. Right now, we'll see if it fills. I didn't rush it because if I look intraday, Look at the volume. Look at this. I don't know what news is going on, but this is getting me excited about this pivot. Look at this intraday volume right around here. Something is going on with this stock. I did look it up right before the news stream, and they were talking about valuations. It was a Yahoo article talking about $7.50. We got a valuation just over $4, $4.15. I'm of the mind, if you're a longer term investor, anything under 7 probably be good, but anything closer to our valuation, even better, right? Right now, the move is just swing trade, and it's the pivot off this long-term trend line. It worked well last time. You can see here. We're seeing it right now. Even if it's a short term, probably play it up to maybe the 20-day EMA, the 40-day EMA. This just makes sense. I'm going to put in probably right here. It's probably around $8.40. So anything over $8, if you're just playing the pivot here, if it does start to run, that's when I would start looking for rejection and start taking profits. And what, $6.70 to $8? That's like what, 15%? I want to say it's about 15%. Let's see here. That's about 8. So the 40 comes in at 860. So yeah, I'd probably do like 850 as a target right now. And these bottom wicks here. Actually, I don't know. Probably $8 still. Yeah, if I see it jump up, real conviction, I want to get above around 8 to 815. Above there. We'll just call it 820. But either way, definitely look for the pivot in UAMY. It's definitely got a lot of our interest. All right. Let's jump over here to the viewers tab. We're going to take a look at some earning stocks. And before I do want to give a shout out to tonight's video. Very interesting concept. If this is your first time tuning in, you might appreciate this type of video, especially if you're new to the VectorVest world or just coming across this for the first time. I know personally that you get stock picks from all sources, right? Friends, coworkers, a hot tip, Google something, AI this, whatever it may be. Tonight's video, we're going to put ChatGPT's top 10 growth stocks under $10, tech related, against VectorVest. I went in Unisearch, put in stocks under $10, checked off all the tech related industries, did VST times GRT, which is our growth rate earnings, times VST. So it's VectorVest first. This is ChatGPT, Imano, 10 stocks, 10 versus 10. I'm going to tell you right now, there is some fish. There is lots and lots of fish in tonight's video. Tonight's video will be on the JP. No, Joey's out of town, Josh. Combine both your names, John Boston. But Joey's out of town. He's down in Charles at a barbecue festival. Hopefully he brings back some barbecue. That would be awesome. That'd be a lot of fun. But keep tonight's video on your radar. And I say it in the video 5 different times at least. Just because I did a video with these stocks doesn't mean go out and buy them right now. We're seeing the market pull back, right? But now is a good time. Get the shopping list ready. So tonight's video and probably, over the next week or two, and really the last week or two, has just been about putting stocks on your shopping list, right? As the market brings opportunities to us. So these are the stocks from earnings, right? I'm just going to order them by percent PRC. We see where the winners are. We see where the losers are. Winner of the day, Datadog, up 24%. It was up 20% earlier. You can see follow through going through the stock. AstraZeneca up 3%. AppLovin 2%. ARM Holdings flat. It's right around 0.25%. Just gonna say flat. Take-Two's after the bell. I think this one's after the bell too. I want to say Airbnb's after the bell. Blocks after the bell. Vista was pre-market. So those are the ones that's done. They're down about 2% right now. Novo Nordisk as well. Some of these are the GLP-1 stocks I did a video on. This one's down about 2% here. Qualcomm down about 3%. Robinhood down 7% after earnings. See the stock right now at $131, down $10 right now. It's just overvalued. That was my biggest concern of Robinhood Markets. Very innovative company, but overvalued in essence. So let's graph these out here. Jazz Iron's earnings is today. I think I forgot about that. I'm almost positive that is correct. We'll take a look at Iron just right after this. Here's Datadog. There's the gap. Follow through from the gap. Full body trading at session highs. Yeah, the stock is way overvalued here. RT in favor of the bulls, though. If we take a look at the growth rate earnings, 6%, sales growth rate, 28%. Ooh. You said ASMC? What do you mean ASMC? Stacy? Or you mean ASML? Not AMSL. Not AMSL. What are you talking about? Oh, down 30%. Stopped out of hood with a small loss. We'll keep an eye on for future. Hey, Troy, as long as you stuck to your stop, small loss, right? It's all about sticking to your stop, staying disciplined, right? That's what it's about. Like today with me, discipline, right? You know, it's all about discipline. Live to fight another day. That's the number one motto. Live to fight another day, right? Especially if you're day traded options. Sold 2/3 of my data dog holding on jump. Ah, okay. So you're playing one more with the house money now? Nothing wrong with that at all. Let them ride. Let them ride. American Semiconductor. That's the one. Okay. That makes more sense. Where is it in here? What? American Superconductor. Duh. AMSC. Here we go. Ooh. That don't look pretty at all. Let's look at the growth rate earnings. Growth rate's rising. 40%. Sales growth rate rising. 80%. What happened? They miss, Stacy? What happened with this? All I'm going to say about this one, I had a line here before, 44. You can see that's where the open, it jumped up, but what would have been support became resistance, right? And that's right where the bottom wick is, and we're right at the 200-day. Man, I will say the stock looks attractive. The only thing I didn't like about the stock is overvalued. Depending on that earnings report, there might be some nibbles to be had here in the future, but I'm not doing it right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a little jump at the 200-day, maybe a little consolidation, but I'd want to see a little bit more of a pivot. Otherwise, I'm thinking we could easily break that 200-day, but we only value it at 23 right now. It's at 36. Let's get it. Let's get closer. Let's see. Look at Dash. Gap down, but look at its valuation. Way overvalued here. Sell recommendation. See, there's a clear break in the 200. I talked about this with Datadog. I said if it gaps down right at the 200, right at the support, look for a pivot up. But look, we broke my support line, broke the 200-day. No help in sight. Trading at session lows. If I go to a one-day intraday chart here, take rid of value. Right there at session lows. It's rough out there for earnings, isn't it? It's a really poopy day in the market. No wonder Joey went to Charleston. Much better than look at the stock market today, that's for sure. I might have to go down there and visit him this weekend. Get some barbecue. It's not that far from here. All right, Datadog. Clearly, investors did not care about the valuation here. They got some things in the works. I like the stock in general. I like the momentum I'm seeing to the upside. Richard says, can we look at Palantir? Is Palantir still in the ascending channel, Richard? Is it still in the ascending channel? Would you mind looking at Open, please? Open Door? Did they report earnings? AstraZeneca. This is why I like AstraZeneca. Lower left, upper right. Yeah, it's a little volatile. It's a drug company. But look, undervalued, values rising. No sales in a while. Just buy and holds. Looks pretty. Like that one. Apple Oven, another one, lower left, upper right. Buy rating, RT stays intact. Another good stock here. ARM Holdings. That growth rate and earnings is just faltering quite a bit. And value is actually lower than it was. Like I said, ARM, it's a great stock, but just You know, the price has been baked in. I was talking about it was 50, 60 bucks. You know, hit what, 180 is the high. Now, I don't see it coming back. Kind of over the arm thing. Still a great stock, but overextended, in my opinion. Here's take two. I mean, look at this trend line. Lower left, upper right, right on the trend line. Look at the value. Oh my God, look at that value. I've been talking about this. This is Grand Theft Auto. I don't know when I did the video. It was probably like 2 months ago, maybe. Let's see, what was it 2 months ago? October, August. No, it would have been September. Yeah, probably about September. A little bit higher than it was in September. See, 2 months ago. Around 239 right now is 254. They've got earnings after the bell. As long as they can come out and say that Grand Theft Auto's coming next year, the stock's going to do good. But if they come out here with a delay again, don't be surprised. That sucker gaps down. Here's Airbnb. A whole lot of nothing. Value, nothing. Growth rate dropping. Can't get excited about that. Cannot get excited about that. Here's Block. Pretty much the same boat. You see the consolidation here, channeling. Looks like it could potentially break to the bottom side of that channel. So just be careful. Your 200-day moving average is now moving down. RT below 1. I don't like Block either. I don't like this. Ollie G says, Ryan, you did well with QQQ. Learned important thing from you today. Thank you, Ollie G. Thank you. You know, let the trade come to you, because I guarantee you right now, I'll tell you right now, I'm a betting man. I know more than one person did it too. If I go 1 day chart, someone was working in the office while the market was going down. They pulled up CNBC. They seen market sell off. I'm going to open a put somewhere in here, right at the market lows. And guess what the market did? Came back. Probably burned them on it. Yeah, they might get lucky at the end of the day, which might be the case. You see the market roll over now. And if you are day trading, you can see it coming back to the 200-day. Could be retesting that. But I'm probably going to be more bearish going into the close. All right, another stock here we had was Vista, VST. They reported this morning. See a little bit of a gap down coming back. Could be more market related. I do have a level here of 189. We did break that level. Actually, that looks like we put in a new recent low. That's a low. We did put a new low. Careful, we got lower highs, lower lows, and we just broke my level here. Moving averages in a bearish manner. John says, when CNBC says markets in turmoil, start buying. Right? Don't do any trades based on what CNBC says. You know, if you want to get some general, consensus, bullish or bearish, hey, I get it, but more often than not, news is not going to be the way to make smart trades. Ryan, take a look at XBEV. I like the RT above 1 up today. Ooh, we got a fresh RT above 1. Nice. All right, let's get through these real quick. Novo Nordisk, just still down. Just extend the trend line. Nope. See values declining too? Nope. Qualcomm, I mean, once I saw that big upper wick there, and he's you got the break to the downside. No. No reason why, if a stock is undervalued, I'm less concerned with this market pullback. If you're in a way overvalued stock, those are the stocks I'm more concerned about. This one undervalued, so I'm not too concerned. Still above the 40 on Qualcomm. Here's Hood. Still in my consolidation. Look, I've been in this range forever now. Still in here. As long as we stay in that range, we're good. But yeah, about right there. Right at the bottom of it. So if we get a clear break, my support is going to be 117. If we break 117, we're in this consolidation, prior consolidation zone, and that bottom of that zone is around 193. So I don't know where you bought Hood at. But again, this is only a 7-month chart, and the stock went from 40 bucks to 160. Don't be so greedy, especially if you see it break this. You could see the tension getting built up in these two trend lines as they squeeze price action tighter and tighter, right? So it's going to want to break at some point. All right, let's get out of these here. Let's see here. My watch list. Let's look at these here. I'm still putting together the robotics drone stocks. Titan 10. Oh, that's something different. I'm researching. That'll be a good one. All right. Look at this. US Antimony. The only stock up today was the pivot. I've been telling y'all to look for 683. My call didn't fill. I know that didn't fill. I'm looking for a little comeback. Shoot. If y'all played the pivot, guess what? You can see here it's one of the few good moves in the market today. So good luck with that. ChatGPT won a contract with Sourcewell. I don't even know what Sourcewell is, to be honest with you, David. But you can see here everything from the marijuana stocks, Tilray, the data vaults, the Navitas, the TMQs, the robotics, the big bear AIs, the rare earths here, all down. I've been telling you, take profits, protect profits, blah, blah, blah. Can't say it no more. You know, at least, you know, if your stock hits its stop, stick to the plan, right? There's a reason why the plan is there, right? Yeah, MU's the other one that's up today. That was the first thing we talked about. You know, but the reason why I like MU, just like I like Qualcomm, undervalued, right? Undervalued. Because think about it, when the market's going through all these big hedge funds and all these individual investors, and they're saying, hey, where's the overvalued stocks? That's the pockets of concern right now. Micron ain't on the list, right? And you can see that. And ain't no one selling Micron. They're buying it today, actually, right? They're probably selling overvalued stuff. You know, all the speculative AI crap that, you can see just went down. I'm not say it's crap, but today it's crap, clearly. You can see it's all down today because most of this is AI related, other than rare earths. I could see that money going into better quality stocks or building up cash, you know, to buy the dip in better quality stocks, right? Earnings were good. Investors are following Michael. All earnings were good last night. Guidance BS again. Guidance BS. Today before earnings, I shorted AMSC. Nice move. Nice move. All right, we're going to take a look at iron real quick as well. Iron's another stock we've been talking about. Still above the above this trend line here. Still like it. I mean, you got to ask yourself where you want to capture profits. Right now it's a 69. This trend line here puts you about 55, 56 roughly. Right? The 40 days right at that trend line, so you probably get a little bounce around here if it does come down here. But it still looks good. Growth rate earnings, 230%. They have earnings today, right? And I'm pretty sure, yeah, my memory's definitely correct on this. They got the contract with Microsoft. I told everybody I would not be mad at you because I was talking about the stock around $20, went up to 60. If you took some profits, right? Way overvalued. Hey, the trade worked. But now we have a catalyst for a lot more growth. $9.7 billion, $9.8 billion Microsoft deal. And if I just use market cap, it's 18.9. We'll say $19 billion. So this one deal is worth half of the market cap of this company. Phenomenal job on this, right? I know the valuation's not jumping up on the deal yet, but essentially they're going from about $100 million in revenue, roughly, to now potentially into the $1 billion spectrum annually because of Microsoft. So we'll see. And that wasn't even leasing all their GPUs. They still had more GPUs to be leased. I know one analyst said if all of their leasing was 100% at capacity, I want to say it was like closer to $2 billion could be generated annually within revenue. So putting those numbers into perspective, and if you believe in, that path, essentially, I see you're still getting a fair deal, right? But right now that price is being baked into the stock. So if it broke this all the way down and came back down, I'm definitely going to snag it up. But it's a little expensive to buy 100 shares at $69 for me. So I'm going to wait off, but still a good stock in my opinion. I like iron a lot. All right, let's go trending Thursday here. Customer picks. All right, these 10 stocks. Let's see, 1 trillion coming to short Palantir. Put, please. CRML, I was pleading with my friend to sell it and put puts when it was at 30 bucks. He didn't sell and didn't buy puts, and now it's at 10. Sigh. You know, John, I'm be honest with you. I literally just messaged Janet, Glenn's wife. Remember I told you guys about UAMY where he was up big on it. I think it was around like 12, 14 bucks at the time. Told his wife, told him to sell it, but I made sure his wife told his wife to. So I actually texted him today. So I'm waiting to hear back, but hopefully they did sell it because I saw that pullback coming. It's pretty clear technical analysis there. All right, here we go. 10 stocks. So these are going to be the 10 stocks that you currently own. These aren't the bottom dippers. These aren't the bottom fishers. These are stocks you currently own. The first 10 stocks are coming through. Now hit that like button as well. The more you hit that like button, the more stocks I am going to break down. All right. So we got LRN, Airbnb, Western Digital, ETHD, SMR, oh. All right, it should be about 10. 9 PTIR 2 times leverage Palantir. All right, so just looking at price action today, we can see the pressure is on. Look at Elf Beauty down 36%. Look, it's finally near our valuation. I've been talking about Elf being overvalued for quite some time here. Oh, man. Valuation almost on par. Western Digital still undervalued. Other than that, Stride, Clean Energy Fuels, Western Digital Corp. All right, let's see where the top growth stocks are. In this list will be Western Digital Corp, followed by Stride. Top sales, we got SMR, 733. Whew. Western Digital, 27. Arista, 27. Good numbers on that. All right, let's take a look at these charts here. Man, I like it. I mean, it's memory devices, you know, high bandwidth memory. HBM we talked about with Micron. It looks like Micron's chart. Value is rising, undervalued, price chasing value. Why overthink it? Why do I need 20 different indicators on here? I don't. Value and price are telling me the story alone. And with that momentum, you know, I know value is typically used more by our investors, not more so the traders. But this, I see potential for both here. Yeah, it's a little overextended from the 20 for my liking. Yes, but it's getting follow through. I mean, the forecasted data, 31%, 27% on the sales side. Volume still rather strong here. We've had pretty strong volume ever since really the beginning of this rally here. You see the volume tick up. It's been pretty elevated. So strong volume on this rally. A lot of conviction with this. Still undervalued. Don't sleep on WDC. Here's Ethereum Pro Shares. Ooh, short Ethereum. Nice. Nice. And I already see, look, we broke it just like anything bullish. I'm looking for the retest. Got a retest. And now we're back to the upside. And if I just look at Ethereum itself, that's going to make it easier for me. Be careful with this because once was resistance at that 200, you see it there, broke through. This could become a level of support. So don't be surprised if this trade becomes short-lived. But if you're already in it, hey, let it ride. Maybe put a 3 and 8 on here or something like Star Search. Help capture those profits. But the trade does make sense. And you might get some follow there. If you get a break on that 200 day, this little guy could run. This little guy could run here. Here's Arista Networks. If I go to a 6-month chart, look at this. That was no surprise. Rejection again. Triple top on a trending upward trend line here. And look where I had my level down here for some reason. Oh, yeah, from the gap fill. It doesn't want to get quite in that gap, you can see. If we get much more pressure down, we got a big gap to fill here, and it could easily do that. Stock is overvalued right now. Phenomenal forecasted data. I see the pressure on with this position. And yeah, if it breaks much below, if it goes back below 133, especially 132, I would get a little bit more defensive because we do have a gap to fill here from before. Here is stride gap down. There's my level of support, clear break in the level of support. But look at the value also dropping. So I'm not bottom fishing on this one quite yet. Because not only did the price drop, but look at the value. Value is rising, price is rising. But all of a sudden, since earnings, value dropped from 240 to less than 200. So you're talking about 20-25% drop in our valuation in, you know what, in the last less than 2 weeks. So be careful of that. I'm not quite sold on that. I want to see that value maybe tick up a little bit before I get too excited. Here's Ricey. You can see the valuation ticking up in this position. Let me take off volume. Growth rate climbing. And let me take off market cap here. Growth rate's at 5%, sales at 10. Not bad numbers. But I'm seeing some weakness. Now, I will say on Ricey. 1472. 1472, if it breaks that, be careful. The stock is trading at a premium right now, and the stock went from about $6 upwards to $16 in less than a year. So you can see it already kind of moving to the side, taking a breather right now. Here's Palantir. Lower left, upper right. Big gap down today. I'm going to just look at Palantir itself, see if it broke the channel. We're right at that channel. We might be breaking that channel this time, people. I'm a little bit more concerned about this one. We're still in it, so I'm not going to rush the gun. If you're short in Palantir, well, this is long here. So it's probably not going to be much different. But look, ascending channel, right? It's a little bit different since it is double leverage. Was right at the bottom of that channel, right where we're at, right? On the actual Palantir on the bottom of the channel. So if Palantir breaks this channel, I could see this accelerating and breaking this channel as well. That's all I'm going to say. So Palantir's at a pretty pivotal moment right now. Here's ELF. Look at the valuation. I talked about it here, getting into ELF when it was undervalued. It was about 60 bucks, 60, 70 bucks, went all the way up to 150. I thought 160, but 150 here. Now it's coming right back down to our valuation. ELF likes to trade at a premium. You can see that, right? That's why I like our valuation here. You can see it getting stretched here, but look, it likes to come down and meet somewhere in the middle, which it did. It came back down. But it's just overstretched. I see buying opportunities in the near future, but I'm not there right now, especially at session lows right now. I don't think this the sell-off might not just be over. With the market pulling back too, might just be able to get a better deal here in the near future. Now here's Airbnb. Done a whole lot of nothing over the last 6 months. Overvalued. Forecasted data, nothing spectacular. I'm not really here for it. Clean Energies. Breaking right at that 200 day. If you're doing some bottom fishing here because it's undervalued now, can't get too mad at it. But I am surprised that utility company is struggling with this market sell-off. Is this earnings? Yep. Ever since its earnings, it's been dropping. So just be careful of that one. Here's SMR. Just doing a whole lot of nothing. I'm not sold on SMR right now. And I'll be honest with you. I think the trade that what you guys have been waiting for is coming in soon. You can see it jumped up here. It's doing nothing but taking a breather. But the technicals, nice healthy move, that 200 day, making its way up here, right? Making its way up here right in the support. So I'm looking for a pivot off this 200 day, and that might just be the pivot we're looking for to really take this stock above this resistance level 45. It needs a good pivot, and I'm looking at that 200 day as that's probably could be the catalyst here. All right, what we got here? Ooh, we got 1 minute. How many likes do we have? Let's see here. Oh, I think it's back this way, actually. Oh, it's which one is it? All right, real quick. The first 3 stocks that you're thinking about bottom fishing on, put them in the chat. The first 3 that come across, we're going to take a look at. Look at some levels, analyze them. First 3 stocks you're thinking about buying the dip on. All right, we got CIFR, Fix, and Net. Cloudflare. Interesting. Interesting. And Troy, I'll add Navitas as an honorable mention, just because that's a stock that I talk about quite a bit here. All right, because it's 3 o'clock, because I think we're supposed to be wrapping up, but I want to give you a couple extra more here. We've got Fix, Cypher, Cloudflare. I wish I would have bought the stock at $40. My buddy was talking about it. Phenomenal stock here. They're way overvalued. So let's go jump in the charts here. Let's jump in the charts. Fix. One thing I like about Fix, look at the value rising with price action, right? I think the damage might be less here. But right now, look at 950. If price action breaks below 950, guess what? We got a gap to fill, and that's going to bring me to 862. And if price action gets there and value stays the same, stock will be undervalued. That could be a good little dip to look out for. And if you look at it, that 40-day is right at the gap fill. So even if we get a steep sell-off the next day or two, I actually like that from a technical perspective. That would be a good one. Here we've got Cypher, CIFR. This is a mining company here. Value not making me excited about this one. Sales growth rate's rocking. Growth rate and earnings, -8. I'm sticking to the technicals with this one. Definitely not much of a bottom fisher here. Yeah, it looks like we might be losing the fast lane here as well. Now, if you see a pullback in this one, a severe pullback would be here, but you can already see that happen. Maybe about $19 or $15. See if you get any pivots off of that. But the stock is just way overvalued. That's going to be my concern here. I'm not a big fan of this stock. Earnings per share dropping as well. So just be careful with this one. Any kind of bottom fishing opportunity. But $15 would be ideal. But just the value, it's just flat and stagnant. Can't get excited. Here's Cloudflare. I'm going to tell you, if we do get a steep sell-off, look at 176 here. I already know one above 250. Maybe here as well in the first one, about 215. And then again on 176. Both RT relative timing weakening and actually becoming in favor of the bears here. Potentially very soon. Right now it's sitting at the oscillation point of 1. Hold off on buying this one. But if we get a nice pullback, some bottom fishing around 176 might not be bad, but look at that earnings per share as well. Rocking and rolling. Fantastic stock, just from a valuation perspective. Hard to get behind it. Now here's Navitas Semiconductors here. Extend this out here. You can see it clearly broke this trend line here. Getting $8. Perfect. Let the stock come to me right now. It's trading. We only value at 149. 149. What is this line around? 460. Let's see what VectorVest says for some support here. That's where I was thinking. A zone here. Change settings. You know, you can do this, you can. Let's do medium average. I'm looking at 747 in this zone because I see a steep sell-off here. It's probably going to accelerate if it breaks this trend line, which kind of sees that taking place right now. But I'm looking around 747. That would be nice. That would be nice. But again, this stock is overvalued, and who knows how far this pullback will go, right? So make sure the trade makes sense. If you got green lights, if you get a primary wave up, that gives me more really confidence that the market has found a bottom. Because right now with the MTI around 0.8 Again, it looks for a bottom around 0.6. It does say there's still potentially some more downside ahead. So I just want to put that on your radar. But again, give you some fish along the way. So when it is time to pull the trigger, we can all do some fishing together. Troy says looking for Navitas around 750 to 8. Yep, that's exactly where that support line is. I wouldn't be too surprised by that. Just breaking that trend line here right now. All right, everybody. It's been a great Thursday. Great trending Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. If you, again, check out tonight's video, VectorVest top 10 growth stocks against Chat GPTs. And the results, they're quite shocking, actually. Well, not that shocking, but VectorVest, it's hard to beat our stock picks. But if someone could do it, I thought Chat GPT is, but hey, there's some fish along the way. All right, everybody. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.